All right, all you Move, Think, Smile followers in our integrative marketing and functional business growth group, everybody out there dedicated to tipping the scales from sickness to wellness and having a true impact on this planet's health. It's Adam and Elliot coming at you live today with a pretty cool episode. I don't know if you saw, but a couple weeks ago, Elliot posted a thing about, hey, who wants to have their website reviewed? Because Elliot, I think one of the biggest constraints that we're seeing out there, in fact, I was just chatting with somebody today in the group, has to do with communicating your true impact. And it really comes down to messaging. And in today's episode, we are going to actually review a lot of the people who replied that, hey, please look at my website. We're going to look at your website. We're going to look at the messaging on the website. We're going to give you some ideas, kind of say what's working, what's not working. And then, hopefully you're going to get an idea of why so many practitioners in the health and wellness space are really struggling. And that is normally because communications, that's not what we've been taught. We've been taught functional medicine. We've been taught integrative nutrition. We've been taught health coaching. We've been taught behavior change, but how to actually get out there and make it simple so people actually want to take the next step is the first thing. So Elliot, kind of fill us in on the background and where we're going to be starting today.
Yeah, so I'm definitely really excited to look at some of the websites that we selected. There were a lot of websites submitted, which was really great. And I went through each of them. And so we've selected a couple for various reasons that we think will really help everybody, even if your website wasn't one of the ones that we selected. And so I think what's really important here is Adam and I are just going to go through and we're going to see where the messaging could be stronger. And I think what's really important about messaging is it's kind of like it's the underdog of things. It's one of the most difficult things to get right. It seems like it should be easier than it is. And I think what's really important is it doesn't matter, what your price point is. If your messaging is off, then you're not going to get the number of clients that you really want, or you may be repelling clients that could be your clients. So I think that this is a really, really important piece to dive into and always be looking at when it comes to marketing your business and letting people know what you do.
Now, before we dive in, I do want to go over some of the most common mistakes that we see. So when we start using some terminology, they will be familiar. The first term we will use is called a platitude. It is actually a real word. It's not made up. You can look it up. It's in the dictionary. At least it was last time I looked. And it basically means a phrase or a word that means different things to different people. And in the health and wellness space, we are very guilty of using these types of phrases where it can mean different things. For instance, I help people with stress. Mm-hmm. Well, what kind of stress? What kind of stress are we talking about? Are we talking about stress from a marriage? And then if it's in the marriage, what kind of stress? Stress from the passion life is not there, stress from abuse, stress from narcissism. What kind of stress are we talking about? Or is it job stress? Is it because your boss is bad? Or maybe your boss is great, but your coworkers are good. Or maybe it's because you have to drive so far. Maybe you're just traveling too much. What kind of stress are we talking about? So that's an example of a platitude. Another big example, especially inside of our industry here, is wellness. Mm-hmm. We're a wellness company. And you put that all over your website. And what does that mean? Because it means many different things to many different people. And because those type of platitudes, those are the things that people, they'll see your stuff and be like, I doesn't really resonate. And then they end up moving on to something else.
I think what's important to add in here, Adam, is I think we can say we all want wellness, right? But the thing is, marketing and messaging has gotten much more prolific and much more niched down. I'm going to say that word. And so if you are promoting wellness, somebody else could be promoting, reversing diabetes or relieving chronic pain. And they're going to capture those potential clients a lot easier because, again, targeting and niching down on these messages has become extremely important because now we can get our message across to so many more people than we used to. And we're not just casting this huge wide net.
True. But even when you said chronic pain, what does that mean?
Yeah. Well, chronic pain.
What kind of pain are we talking about? There's things, other things that we're going to see that are common. I don't know if we're going to see them in this review today, but the things we'll see are people will sit there and they will talk about their credentials or they'll talk about their how-to process. And the reality is people don't care. They just don't. They just want to know if you can help them fix a very specific condition. And another thing we see, and this is not your fault, and we've done it too, but I guarantee we're probably going to see it today. And that is you're handing out free stuff, lead magnets, tripwires, workshops, webinars when we're dealing in wellness. That stuff does work. And as if you've followed anything we've ever done before, any marketing strategy can work, which is absolutely true. But wellness is not like, and health and wellness is very different in the industry out there. And do you need to be handing out Band-Aids when somebody needs quote unquote surgery to fix a big problem?
Yep.
And so let's go through some of these and kind of see what we've got going on. All right. So where are we starting?
All right. So we're going to start with Angela Hansen.
All right. And Angela, what is her background here? So let's see here. Treat Yourself Wellness. Welcome to your new beginning. If you are struggling with a chronic pain or dis-ease in your body or mind, you're in the right place. Treat Yourself Wellness, yoga therapy services, specializes in guiding the mind body back into well-being using ancient holistic and therapeutic yoga practices so you get your life back, giving the life you desire. All right, Angela, first, clean design. It's super simple to dive into. Right away, we're talking about wellness, and I love what you're doing. I know what you're doing, but my bet is when people come to this, they don't really understand what it is you can help them achieve. And when I read this first paragraph, new beginning, okay, chronic pain, what kind of chronic pain? Yep. Dis-ease. Now, when we do it like that, like dis-ease, I know what you're talking about, but most of the general public doesn't. So they see that and it kind of like their brain can't connect with it, especially if they're not feeling well and they're thinking their cognitive levels at a first grade level, they're not going to process that. And then you have body and mind. While I know what you're talking about, the average person out there dealing with a disease, dysfunction, or chronic pain, this is a platitude, and they're just like, they don't understand it. And then yoga therapy services, be really, really careful. I know how powerful yoga is. I know all the cool stuff it can do, but a lot of people will look at that and they will just kind of like, oh, this is just another yoga teacher. And what they end up doing is they automatically put you into the bucket of $10 YouTube videos that they can go watch online. And that's what's happening in the back of their head. So we got to be really careful with that, unless that's what you're trying to sell, of course. And then one thing, if you've ever been to any of our workshops, you got to be careful of the H word. I know what it means. You know what it means. It's exactly what we're doing. But the majority of the people out there, especially over 30 years old, you mentioned the word holistic, and the first thing that pops in their head is Whole Foods cardboard crap, and they want to run away. How do we know? Because we made a mistake. We made a mistake. So with this right here, what I would suggest doing is really getting more precise in what exactly it is you're helping people overcome, and then just being super simple, straight to the point. We scroll down here. We got a breakthrough pain call. Cool. Okay, this kind of hits the back pain. I would definitely highlight that more if we can. Free workbook, and be careful with these right here, because what ends up happening is people are like, oh yeah, I want to talk to Angela, but you know what? I'm just going to get her workbook. They download it, they get the email, they never read it, and they never come back. And so in their mind, they've taken something kind of forward, but they haven't done anything. Facebook group, it's cool. But the thing is, the way that you're doing is people don't want to be in a Facebook group, even though you're in a Facebook group now with us now. What they do want to do is they want to be in with a group of people dealing with the same type of things. And so this is where we want to not promote the Facebook group, but actually what the Facebook group is about. What is chronic pain? My bet is people are not getting down this far and then going into researching and doing scientific stuff and all this kind of thing. And again, we've got the whole thing like stress here. It's like, I know what that means. You know what that means. But again, the people who are in pain, they're literally looking for help now.
And I think what's important to add here, and what I would love to know, Angela, is like what types of chronic pain. And this is a little bit what Adam and I were talking about when we kind of kicked this off. And so I also want you to think about when someone is in chronic pain, a lot of times it's like you think about what someone would type in Google. So if I'm in chronic pain, I'm not necessarily going to type in, how do I fix my chronic pain? It's like, how do I fix my elbow pain if that's what's chronic? Or how do I fix my back pain if that's what's chronic? And so I think too, and this might be stuff that you've heard before, but I think it's also really important that a lot of times practitioners will worry to kind of narrow down into those specific body pains. But the thing is, again, this kind of comes back to, are you going to hire somebody that says chronic pain, or are you going to hire somebody that says chronic knee pain if chronic knee pain is what you have?
Right. Exactly. Now, the good thing about this is you have turned your homepage into a funnel. So you've given
Yeah.
people a couple of different ways to kind of like connect with you for what you're doing. If you're really dealing with chronic pain, if I've got a migraine headache, and I've had a lot of knee surgeries, a lot of knee pain, a lot of back pain. If I'm on the floor and I can't get off the floor and all I want is somebody to help me get rid of my pain, if I come to this and I've said, oh, I heard Angela does pain, I read this, me personally, I'm probably going to click elsewhere because I don't understand what it is you do. And I hate to say that, but that's the gosh honest truth. And so what I would suggest, Angela, is getting really precise on the kind of pain that you're dealing. I would minimize the options as far as like giving them free stuff, because this right here, the free workbook, will attract freebie seekers. I know a lot of people out there talking about lead magnets and tripwires, but in the wellness industry, that kind of stuff just doesn't work. At least I've yet to meet anybody that took that and that turned into a $5,000 client. And that's just my personal experience with that. Down here, you've got a really cool little story. But again, hey, I'm Angela, founder of Treat Yourself Wellness, therapeutic yoga services that are expertly designed to support an honorable journey of bringing the mind-body back into optimal balance and alignment using a holistic and ancient therapeutic approach. Okay, that's a mouthful. And it sounds very corporate written. And again, I don't know what you do, except I know you do yoga. But I don't know what problems you're fixing. And so I would really suggest going in there and getting a little bit more crystal clear on that. This is cool about being in BC and 108 Mile Ranch. And then we've got our sessions down here. And what we're doing here is by promoting sessions, you're literally setting yourself up for trading time for money and having a transactional model. And that's something that I really highly encourage people get to, a transformational model so you can get to a flat fee. Because right now you're basically setting yourself up to be a commodity to all the other yoga teachers out there. Hey, I'm $90 an hour, I'm $142 an hour, or will be determined private group sessions based on, how many people are coming in. So right now you're basically telling everybody in the world, I'm just a yoga teacher. I'm not different than anybody else out there. And if you find a yoga teacher that's $75 an hour, they're probably going to go with them. And that is not trying to be cruel or mean, but that is just to be the honest truth of sales psychology and how people interpret your message, especially when they do have chronic pain. And again, when somebody's not feeling good, the number one common denominator across any disease or dysfunction is fatigue, and cognitive level really goes down to like that 8-year-old level, like that first grader level. And they're just not processing. So we got to be super simple, to the point, easy to make it for them to want to reach out to you and to get your help, which I know you can do some really cool stuff. Elia, anything else?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think too, whenever I see, per session here, again, as Adam was saying, and this is great. I'm sure you've gotten a lot of clients this way, and thinking about it, again, we want to be able to shake up your thinking about your business, to think about it instead from these different health issues. And as Adam said, more of a transformational setup versus these trading time for money. And so I think it's a slight variation, but it's a little bit different way of looking at how you're going to market your services and how you're going to bring people in. And so with chronic pain, however, the great thing I want to say, Angela, is chronic pain is a big pain point. It's kind of like an ambulance effect if you've listened to any of our workshops or some of the lives that we've done, which is, it is a major thing. You're not just helping people who have whose toe hurts. You're talking about chronic pain. And this is something that people are willing to pay, and pay well for, because chronic pain is terrible. We all, again, as we said, when you're in that kind of level of pain, it's like you will do what it takes, or you want to do what it takes to fix it.
So what you want to do on this is you really want to change your messaging to focus on the transformation of basically going from the hell of having this pain every day to the heaven of not having it and being able to get back to life normal. And then you also want to do that by not focusing on the transaction and trading time for money. Because right now at $90 an hour, in order to make $5,000, you're going to have to work 55.5, basically 56 hours in order to make $5,000. And I'd be shocked if you could work 55 hours straight in a week and run the back end of your company without breaking yourself in half. So I'd really suggest going for more of a transformational model, doing flat fee pricing. If you want to put the pricing on your website, that's totally cool. It's not a big deal. Just make sure you position it correctly so people understand the value and you're communicating your true impact. So hopefully, Angel, that's helpful. Comment below if there's anything else we can help with. And Elia, where are we going next?
Very cool. Okay, Amber.
And Amber is right here. Okay. So let it load up. Well, it's not wanting to load. There it is.
There it goes. Yep.
Okay. Integrative Nutrition Health Coach. Hey, what's up? I'm an IN2. When did you go through? Amber, let's see. In wellness coaching with Coach Amber Berry. All right, that's a tough one. I thought my name was hard. Barry Octree. Barry Octree. Hopefully I'm getting close to that. Okay. Reduce RA symptoms. I'm going to guess you mean rheumatoid arthritis. If that is the case, spell it out. For sure. And I would do more than reduce RA symptoms. I would probably put a stronger headline on here talking about just a mini hero's journey from the pain of rheumatoid arthritis, if that's what we're talking about, to the heaven of not having it. And there's a couple really cool, precise ways to do that. We got a big image here of a couple people jumping. Now, in my experience with rheumatoid arthritis, this typically affects somebody who's going to be 40 plus. And seeing a couple of young girls jumping, if I've got rheumatoid arthritis, I'm automatically going to go, I'm not really sure if this is going to be for me and if they can help me, because it looks like a totally different market. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are people in their 20s and early 30s that have RA, but I have yet to see that personally. And let's see down here. Okay, and then we've got some text. You're here to find ways to reduce the symptoms you experience with rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, so I was right there.
Good. Yep.
I have done this and I want to share with you all the ways that, okay, so maybe I'm wrong. A big part of my coaching is helping people who have RA to get to a place where they experience fewer symptoms. And in some cases, such as mine, lower disease activity and bring your RA symptom down to 0. My coaching includes, okay, what I love is that you're really focused on rheumatoid arthritis. I think that's absolutely excellent. Where it starts to kind of lose me, symptoms. You know what the symptoms are, but when somebody's got rheumatoid arthritis, you literally need to spell them out. So we need to be a little bit more precise in that. And then we go to my coaching. So now all of a sudden we jump into your how-to and how you work versus the actual transformation from hell to heaven that somebody's going to get by hiring you. And I know you're an IA. Go ahead, Elia.
I was going to say one thing too, before we move too far along, is I think it's important to flesh out that we want to say the symptoms, not because they don't know what their symptoms are, but because we want to know that you know exactly what our symptoms are so that we see you as the expert, right? As the potential client. If you've listed out all the symptoms, then I know for sure you know exactly what I'm going through.
Yeah. So let's see here. Assessing the details of your RA situation, reviewing your personal family history, reviewing your existing steps to control your disease, effective toolbox, establishing a baseline, solid plan. Yeah. So this is what we like to do is we like to take what we consider the journey for somebody from sickness to wellness, and we call it a path to victory. And so one of the most powerful things you could do is if you're going to put your process on here, is number one, give it a unique name. In the world of marketing, this is called a unique mechanism, or UM. And we have unique selling proposition and unique mechanism. I detailed them in the workshop we just did a few weeks ago. If you haven't seen that, go over to watch that and you can see all the stuff we talk about there. But basically, you want to come up with a clinical kind of scientific name for your process, but then you want each step to be a mini transformation that somebody can say yes to along the process. Because right there, I'm going to bet when somebody sees that, I'm not saying I don't know if it's repelling them away, but they're probably not grasping onto what you can really do. And I think as an IN coach, I know what you can do. And I think there's a lot more effective way to say that. Would you agree, Elia?
Yeah, I think so. And again, when we talk about, and if you've listened to a lot of our stuff before, when we talk about really speaking to the transformation, we really want to be careful about highlighting the how something is going to be done. Yeah. We can definitely dive into that when you speak to people, or maybe you do your 60-minute consult call. You could kind of dive a little bit more into that. But again, we also really want to be careful because sometimes as people who don't feel well, if we see this whole process laid out for us, sometimes our brains will be like, oh, I don't want to do that, or that sounds like a lot of work, or I've tried this before, whatever it might be. And so we really want to do everything we can to help our potential clients see that we understand exactly where they are and not overwhelm them with all they're going to get. Right. And this kind of comes back to the difference between messaging for a transformational offer versus a transactional offer. And in a transactional offer, people are just blitzing their potential clients with all the things they are going to get. And so now it's like we're trying to sell them things and not enroll them into better health.
That's a good point, Ellie, because I can tell you right now, as an IIN coach, nobody wants to buy coaching. Nobody wants to buy health coaching. Nobody wants to buy wellness coaching. Nobody wants to buy wellness. Nobody wants to buy preventive medicine. Nobody wants to buy that stuff. What they want to buy is what that stuff gives them. And that's where high impact messaging comes in. Then you've got a calendar on a page, which is cool. You can do this. Honestly, we have found in the wellness field that you want to have a little bit more friction, meaning that if you just let people book a call with you, you get calls booked, but nobody will show up, or there'll be high cancellation rate. It'll be the wrong people all the time because the free consultation call, it's going to bring in freebie seekers. Instead, make it to where, have them go through a process to see if they qualify to work with you. You have an application with logic built in, and depending on how they answer the questions, they either can or can't book a call with you. Trust me, you'll get better calls booked, you'll get more calls booked, and you have more clients paying you. Absolutely. Yep. And then free supplementary resources to help you control your RA symptoms. Again, be very careful with this, because now people come down and they see this, it's like, oh, why would I book a call with Amber when I can just download this free stuff and not spend an hour with her and probably fix my symptoms, even though we know that that's not going to work, but that's what they think. So what they're doing is, we call it shelf help. They get it, they put it on their hard drive. If they look at it, it ends up going on the back shelf, on the back burner, getting dusty. They don't need a Band-Aid. They need real help. So be very, very careful with the giveaway stuff. And I understand why a lot of people do it, because there's a lot of people in the marketing world saying that's how you should market your business. But I have yet to see people in the health and wellness industry actually do well with that kind of stuff. All right, Ellie, anything else on Amber's website?
I think that's it. Like I said, I really love to see how specific she is with the RA symptoms. And so I think that that's the super strong point here. And so I think, just working on a few of these insights, and then Amber too, just kind of, if you listen through some of the rest of the website reviews we're going to do, you might get some other ideas.
All right. And where are we going next, Elia?
All right. So next up we have Paula.
Oh, you're right. Okay. This is a fun one. myvaginacoach.com.
All right. That's a great name. It gets my attention right off the bat.
First of all, good job for being bold. That's why we call it move things small, move boldly. So good job there on doing it. Okay. So we got a join my mailing list pop-up. There are two different schools of thought on this. This is something that I personally am not a fan of. And I get into the website and all of a sudden this thing pops up and I'm automatically conditioned to just not do it, because so many websites out there have these pop-ups, join my list, join this, get 10% off, get this. And I just don't do it. So we don't use it on our websites, and we don't recommend our clients do it either. We actually find just having more powerful messaging and then having a great call to action, have a very simple call to action on the homepage is going to work better. And PCES, oh, she's a Dr. Sarah student, if that's postpartum corrective exercise specialist. Awesome. She's one of our great friends. So personal training for your pelvic floor. Okay. I know what Dr. Sarah does. You know what Dr. Sarah does. But when it comes to pelvic floor, now, I honestly had never heard those two words put together until I met Sarah. I'll be honest with you. I think a guy's got a pelvic floor somewhere too, but I don't know anything about it. Elia, before you met Sarah, have you heard the term pelvic floor?
I think I had, but I didn't really relate. And I think this kind of comes back to, if you are doing, pelvic floor therapies, here's the really important question you have to ask yourself. Does your ideal client know what that means? Do they know what some of these things like diastasis means? And so if they do, if they are a educated potential client in that they know what it is, they've been struggling with their pelvic floor, they've been seeing pelvic floor specialists, and they're looking to you, then it's going to make sense to them. But if they are just starting out on this journey and maybe don't know, then it can be really powerful, again, to consider speaking to the symptoms versus where the issue is coming from.
Yeah, so if you look at like a lot of the PCS grads that we've worked with, so we got Dr. Ingrid Gratz, we got Dr. Angela Turno, we've got Kendra Fitzgerald, Nicole Coons, Jessica Kumo, Meryl Fell, Katie Galvin. I mean, I could keep going down the line of people we've worked with. And if they do stick in the pelvic floor area, usually it's one of three things or a combination that they're working with. It's either be incontinence, it's going to be abdominal gaps, diastasis recti or diastasis recti, and or a combination of some type of hip or back pain. And so that's where you're really going to want to highlight what it is you do on your homepage. Personal training, again, just like health coaching, nobody wants to buy personal training, just like nobody wants to buy a health coach. They want what your skills in PCS can give them. That's what they want. And honestly, other than us and you and the people who are in PCS, nobody even knows what that badge means. They just don't. You can put it on there, but nobody knows what it means. And it's not really your credentials that will get people want to take the next step. Remember, your website is part of your messaging map. And if you think about it, your marketing needs to be a journey. So every line, every phrase, every word, we want that to get the person viewing and reading your stuff to consume the next part of your message and then to click and to want to get to the marketing destination, which in this case is to actually have a consultation with you and of course, enroll them as a new client, if that makes sense. So this right here, I think this could be a lot more powerful. Just, I know what you guys do and I know the things that you can overcome by changing that headline for sure.
And one minor thing about the headline I was also just realizing is I actually didn't see it at first because it's so dark and it's kind of up against a dark background.
Well, it's black on red.
Yeah.
It's black on red. So it's a great picture, but it's black on red. And it's just really tough. Now, when you say down here, are you tired of peeing your pants? Much better for sure.
That's awesome. Yep.
Yeah, coughing, sneezing, or jumping, causing leaking, painful sex, preventing intimate time with your partner. So now we're starting to get into juicy stuff. And I would definitely put this higher up on the page for sure. Don't let your pelvic floor hold you back. Again, what's interesting is a lot of women, I don't think they actually know, and this is working with a lot of PCS grads, actually know that it's their pelvic floor is a problem. They don't necessarily know. So be careful with that, because when you start putting out there what the problem is, you could trigger the Google slap. And that is, they're going to go over to here and they're going to type in this, how to fix pelvic floor. And then they're going to start their journey away from hiring you. And that's how that works. So be really careful with that kind of stuff. Again, the whole book a call thing. Again, you can do that. I'm more of a fan of creating friction and more anticipation and saying, hey, let's see if you qualify, taking them through a qualification process that's automated through a logic built form. And depending on how they answer, they can then have a consultation with you or not. Do yoga with me live. Okay, like talking like our first website, be careful with this. Even though Kendra Fitzgerald is a yoga teacher and Nicole Coons is a Pilates instructor, if I got that right, I might be having backwards, but that's what these guys do. We don't talk about yoga and Pilates in any of their marketing. We just don't. And if you go and look at Kendra and Nicole's interview that I did with them, they literally could write an encyclopedia on marketing because they tried everything out there. They tried everything from low ticket offers to doing memberships, to doing PDFs, to doing launches, to doing challenges, they tried everything and nothing worked. Well, it was kind of working. They were making $2 an hour. I guess if you could call that success. They were profitable, but not by much. So be careful with that. Book club, June, The Good Life by Water. Now this right here, I'm not sure why that's there, because now it's all of a sudden, it's like, am I still on the right website? Am I still on the right website? And I'm sure just rephrasing that would be a lot better. Again, now we've got down here, it's kind of the same thing we saw before, which we see on a lot of people's pages. And that is, you're now putting the emphasis on the profession versus the transformation. And now I'm going to classify you in the same realm as all the other yoga teachers out there and all the other personal trainers out there, which I know if you got a PCS background is absolutely not what you are. You've got a superpower that could really help women, because I've seen it time and time again, but we just need to convey that true message, convey that true value here. So hopefully, Paula, that helps. We got live class schedule again. If you are doing classes and that's all you want to do and that's your thing, totally cool. You can put your class schedule here. People can sign up and get it. But again, it then puts the viewer's mind into the mind of, okay, this is just like everything else out there. I'm going to take a yoga class or I'm going to go do a workout instead of actually solving a big problem. Elia, you have anything?
And I think one thing that I want to add is that, for a lot of the people we've worked with too, you can absolutely do classes. You can do your yoga classes, but for so many of you and the ones that we've looked at websites so far, you have an additional skill set to help for a major health and wellness problem, whether that's chronic pain or, leaking or rheumatoid arthritis. And so there is the possibility to have a hybrid where, again, you are teaching some yoga classes, but then you have a more of a transformational, I'll say, program with quotes that you can take people through, where it's, again, not just about getting sessions, but about really taking people through the transformational process, which I know you guys know what I'm talking about if you are coaches, because most coach programs will tell you to package your coaching services and or maybe do a few one-offs. And so I think, it's important to kind of ask yourself, and again, this may not be the case for Paula, but what do I want to do? Do I just want to do one-on-ones, and how much time do I have available to do that? Or do I want to do a few one-on-ones and then have some higher impact packages that are really speaking to the transformation versus, again, just the transaction?
Well, I know for a fact that you can sell diastasis recti and incontinence and healing that for $5,000. And I know that Nicole and Kendra were actually doing $24,000 year-long packages. So I know it can be done. I know it can be done, Paula. And if you're interested in that, hit us up. We could probably help you out too. I do like this testimonial right here. Testimonials are always great. Wear them like a badge of honor in front of your wellness army and on your website. If you get a chance, try if you have clients that are willing to do like an interview with you or just give you a video testimonial, text testimonial, if that's all you got, use it. But if you can get a video, it's always going to be more powerful. Frequently asked questions. What I would do if you have FAQs, I would probably put them in a different section of the website, because if we have a page that runs too long, people kind of get lost and they get down to the bottom and they're like, okay, I'm out. So typically on website pages, the launch model will teach you to have this big, long sales page with all this stuff. And it's actually more powerful. Less is more in this case. Get the finger and the mouse moving and the hand clicking so they get on different stuff. So Paula, hopefully that's helpful. Super, super stoked that you're a PCS grad and you've got some really good power there. And I think you can really take this away from, if you're interested in doing kind of like a flat fee, $5,000 thing, we've done it. I think we've worked with 30 or 40 PCS grads in the past couple of years and have had some really good success with them. All right, Elliot, next.
Okay. Next is Bryn Clark.
Bryn Clark. Bryn, I believe you and I are speaking on Monday with Amanda Hinman, which is super cool. All right, Bryn, so let's take a look at this. So, Bryn, you and I will get down and we can talk a little bit more about your website, but just a couple of things that we talked about at the beginning of this thing. Right away, we see healing and wellness process. And again, as somebody who is not well, who is sick, I don't know what that means. We know what that means. You know what that means, but I don't know what that means. So it's a platitude. So we're going to speak more specifically and more precisely and really get that messaging down to the overall health or wellness challenge transformation. Deep healing, treatment stages, lifestyle wellness. Again, I know what you do and I know what that means, but most people don't.
Adam, can you share your screen? We can't see it.
Oh, you can't even see it, can you? There it is. There it is.
There we go.
Yeah. Find true healing through our wellness process, consultation assessment, deep healing, treatment stages, lifestyle wellness, platitudes. Great start. It's a clean website. I like the way it looks. And then wellness process, but I really don't know what you do. Like, I really just have no idea. It's Center for Health and Wellness. Okay, cool. But I don't know what you do. And I'm fairly confident we can turn this around into something that's a much more powerful thing. So you're easily bringing in $3,000 to $5,000 clients.
Yeah. And I think what's important here too is, in my mind too, I think I would be like, well, you just need to click around the site and you can see what I do. But I think what's really important here is we have a short amount of time to capture someone when they first land on your website or whatever you're using. And so we want that first image to be, and that first message to be super, super clear on what it is that you do.
Yeah. Yeah. And sound healing event, I've been to them. I was absolutely amazed at what it did. It was super cool. But most people are like, oh, what is this? And they're just going to bypass this unless they absolutely know what it is and they've worked with you before. And this is for past patients, clients. Acupuncture and Oriental medicine on Boston's North Shore. All right. So I know what acupuncture is. I know Oriental medicine is. The two are very, very powerful together. But again, there's more focus on the procedure or the modality and methodology versus the actual transformation and why somebody would give you money and walk away being happy. And so again, Bren, we're going to be chatting, I believe, on Monday, and we could chat more about that for sure. All right.
Perfect.
Anything else, Eliam, on that one?
Yeah. No, actually, I think I just, really wanted to highlight that one in the sense of just really making sure that people are remembering that, yes, it's kind of like we want to hit people in that very top section of the website with as many specifics about what you do as possible, because that way it's like, if I'm struggling with something you guys specialize in, I know immediately that you specialize in it. And I won't like click away or go somewhere else that might have that right on the top that tells me, oh, this is where I need to be.
Now, there are two schools of thought here. And this is, if I'm looking for acupuncture and herbal medicine, This is going to work great.
Yep.
It's like, I'm already in, I've already done it. I've just moved to the Boston North Shore from California and I'm looking for this. Mm-hmm. My bet is most people that are coming in your door as new clients are not that. Most of the people probably coming in the door are dealing with pains and stuff like that. And they've kind of heard about y'all and they're coming in for very specific conditions, not because you do Oriental medicine. I could be wrong, but that's my gut feeling on that.
Okay. All right. And then last one, I just wanted to feature this one. This is Keisha. And if we can, I'm hoping we'll be able to pull up her site. She has actually a video as the first thing that you see on her website. And so I thought that this was a good one to look at too.
All right, let's do it. All right, we got it. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look. Let me make sure we can actually see this here. Oh, where'd it go? There it is. There it is. There it is. All right, we got it coming through. Super clean, super big, powerful video. Let's take a look.
Oh, I don't hear anything.
Say what?
I said, I don't hear anything. I was hearing it earlier, but now I'm not hearing it.
You're not hearing it. All right, let's try this again. I'm pretty sure I had it. Let's remove. Let's try it again. Let's go here. Tab. It says it's there. Try it one more time. All right, let's make sure we get back over here. There it is.
I plan to reach them.
There
this is not a plan where.
All right, let's start over. But it's actually making me go back and do it again. I want to start fresh. I want to let me start at the beginning.
I plan to reach them. This is not a plan.
Here we go.
Hi, I'm Keisha, an ACE-certified personal trainer and ACE-certified health coach and your health and fitness accountability coach. I started I Lose to...
Okay, so right off the bat, we're leading with your credentials. And I love your credentials. I think they're amazing. You're not going to like this, but people don't care about your credentials. They just don't. What they care about is, can you help them fix a major health or wellness challenge? So right away, I would change that. By the way, good job on the video. Looks pretty cool. It's big. It gets my attention. But it's going to, because I'm already, how far am I?
Again, on the concept that in life, you have to lose.
So I'm already 30 seconds in. So you got to remember, you have 3 seconds on your website to make a massive impact before your bounce rate increases.
Yep.
That
and
is
here's what's
go ahead.
Yeah, and I think what's important too is like, when we landed there, it's like I can tell that this is a weight loss offer of some sort, but I'm not sure like how much weight, or is this for men? Is it for women? That kind of thing. So I think too, what's really important is really making sure that, because weight loss is such a huge industry, that again, we need to have very specific people that we're speaking to here. Otherwise, sometimes again, it'll be very generalist, and or as Adam said, we start trying to say, hey, look at my credentials, look at me, look at me. But as a viewer, if I'm trying to lose weight, I'm actually not hearing anything that speaks to my experience, at least thus far.
Exactly. And so I am ready. Schedule a 20-minute goal setting session. I'm Keisha, and your health and fitness accountability coach. My goal is to partner with you. Now, what's interesting, Keisha, is I'm like Ellie said, I'm pretty sure you're a weight loss thing, because I lose to gain, and it's the name of the website. You had that in your thing, but you always refer to yourself as a health and fitness accountability coach. People don't want to buy health and fitness accountability coaching. What they want to buy is weight loss. And actually, people don't want to buy weight loss. They want to buy and will pay heavily for what weight loss gives them. What weight loss gives them. So if you can even micro niche down a step further, you'd be surprised at the interaction and the engagement you're going to get from your marketing and your messaging. Say, we know that the ultimate goal is health, but an incentive never hurts. Receive a 4-day, 3-night stay in a U.S. domestic city when you reach your health and fitness goals. Again, what do you mean by health and fitness goals? So we got a platitude again. Ellie's health and fitness goals are way different than mine. They just are. And so again, I'm kind of confused, and I'm not really sure what you do. And so I'm looking, just the only thing I know is that she's a health and accountability coach. And so if I'm actively looking like I need somebody to hold me accountable and just basically yell at me and tell me what to do, this might work. But my gut feeling is there's not a lot of people landing on your website thinking like that. Facebook monthly challenges. Be careful with the challenge thing. I've yet to see a challenge really, really work well to boost the bottom line for a company. You get a lot of people signing up, a lot of low ticket or freebie seekers, but they just don't want to take the action, or they don't do the protocol, or they just don't want to pay you any more money past that. Then we got the apparel, upcoming events. So right away, I really don't know what you do. I don't. I've spent 30 seconds on the video, and I just don't know what you do. And if I'm overweight, traditionally that means I'm not thinking very much. I don't have a lot of energy. Maybe if they watch the rest of the video, they'll get a better indication. But I think, Keisha, that what you could do is really take this and really highlight the transformation that you do. Elia?
Yeah, I think so too, because obviously, Keisha, I think you've got experience under your belt, and I'm certain that you have some really amazing stories. And so we want to make sure that we highlight that stuff first. And so I think that will give all of this a lot more traction.
Exactly. So everybody out there watching, your messaging is so important. Now, I want to say two things about websites. One, so many people think they've got to have a website. Honestly, you don't. You don't. You need to have a marketing funnel, right? And remember, a marketing funnel is not a thing. It is a journey that you take people on. So when we talk about how we work with our clients, there are four steps there. First, the structure, setting up. So first and foremost, your patients and clients are getting the strongest results possible in the shortest period of time while you have a healthy bottom line and you're not burning out in the process trying to make it happen. That's the crux right there. Because a lot of people can get people results and can have a pretty good revenue, but then at the end of the day, they just want to stare at the ceiling fan and count the rotations, right? They don't want to do anything else. They're just burnt. They're done. They're toast. They can't enjoy life anymore. So that's important. Number two, messaging. So structure, that's the shop that we're setting up, proverbial shop. Messaging is a sign we're going to put outside the store so people see it, go, oh, I want to take the next step on your messaging map in your marketing journey to then consume the next part of your message and ultimately land at your marketing destination. And that is going to be, well, talking to you, and then of course handing you their credit card to hire you to help them with their big health or wellness challenge, which is going to save them thousands of bucks over the healthcare system. And it's a big win for everybody involved. They win because they're happy, their health is back. The company wins because it's healthy, it's got a great bottom line, and you're winning because, well, you're not burning out in the process, which is super cool. Then of course we've got the marketing. Now the marketing is where we put the sign. And a lot of people think I've got to have a website to put my sign on. A website can be a great long-term solution, But in the beginning, for really getting something up and running, it is absolutely not required. I have seen people go to $1 million a month, and we've worked with people who've done very, very well without a website. They literally had like a Facebook page or a Facebook group, and they had a couple like landing pages instead of lead pages with some marketing stuff, and that's it. So I guess technically it is a website, but it's not a website as most people think. It's not a homepage, about page, contact me page, team page, blog, vlog, and all that kind of stuff. And of course, you have the enrolling process. And that is what most people think, I just need help with my messaging. Well, remember, messaging comes in two forms. So we got the shop, we got the sign, we know we're going to put the sign. What are you going to say when somebody opens the door? And that's the enrollment process. And messaging happens in your written communications, in your marketing, your videos, posts, emails, things like that. But it also happens the minute somebody comes in and you get on a phone call or you get on a Zoom session with them. And if your messaging isn't on the enrollment session, you're going to kill the prospect's chances of hiring you. And so with that in mind, we invite everybody to come over to movethinksmile.com. There is a big fat video. We've got our own video right there on the front page that explains what we do. And we invite you to come book a demo. Come see the frameworks that we're using with our clients, what we call impact-driven profit systems, using integrative marketing and functional business growth to really tip the scales from sickness to wellness. And dare I say, people like Barb Latimer and Andrea Harrison, they're having profit margins upwards of 97%. Andrea doesn't have a website. And you know what we did in the first 30 days of launch? She got 5 clients, high impact clients, high end clients, dare I say high ticket. But that's what we call that, high impact. So if you at all be interested in seeing how we work with our clients and how we take websites like this. And again, don't feel bad, guys. We're not trying to sit here and make you feel, we did the same thing a long time ago. It's a learning process. And if you'd like to speed up time and really see what's possible, yeah, we'd love to share with you those frameworks. Come over to movethinksmile.com and let's schedule a demo. Elia, you got anything to add to that?
I mean, I think you cover most of it. I would just say, again, just really remembering that we want to stay away from promoting your certifications and promoting, again, these transactional and methodologies, right? And so again, it's just really, really important. Now, if you want to do all the one-on-one sessions and that's how your business is thriving, then obviously, again, that's totally okay. But if you're looking for some insights on how to switch into kind of this different type of model and to really speak to people in a different way so that you do stand out from the crowd, then definitely go through and listen to how we kind of have broken down these different websites and find that little nugget that was for you. And we'd really love for you to, in the comments below, say what that kind of aha moment was so you can share that with other people that might not watch this all the way through, but they'll read the comments and it could be really helpful for somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. And do remember just how important communicating your true impact really is. And the credential thing, don't get us wrong. Yes, having some authority is good. Ethically, knowing what you're doing is important. But most of the credentials that we have, unless you are a functional medical doctor or a functional nurse practitioner, we can blare out there our credentials, health and accountability coach all day, and people have no idea what that is. They just don't. They don't know what the Institute of Integrative Nutrition is. They don't know what ACE is. They don't know what HCI is. They don't know what PCES is. They don't know what any of that stuff is. We do. They don't. So don't. And this is one thing, and even with the functional medical doctors and physician assistants and nurse practitioners and physical therapists that we work with, we even downplay their credentials. Like we super downplay. Yes, they can kind of help, but it's not your credentials that help you. It's the message of the transformation with the health or wellness pain that they're trying to get rid of that does help you. So if you'd like to learn more about the frameworks we use with our clients to take them from idling along to ludicrous speed, come on over to movethinksmile.com, book a demo, and let's chat soon. All right, everybody, that's it for today. Have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody next week.